Hi everyone, welcome back. Kelly will be with us shortly. Trusting you all are hanging in there and enjoying. Well, I'm in California and the sun is out, so that's been a really nice treat. Watching all the flowers bloom and listening to the birds chirping away. Kelly's coming now. So, welcome everyone. Hope you're
Hi,
having. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How is everybody?
Hi. Uh, doing Tuesday, right?
Doing Tuesday. Glad to be here. Can you
Listen,
hear me well and clearly?
yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, good.
How was your weekend?
I got to kayak one day, and the second day we pumped it up and could hear a little hiss of a hole we have to patch.
Oh,
First time in all these years, so it's all good. We're gonna take care of it, and then it turned great. Like today, I don't know how, I'm doing okay with lighting, but I'm used to natural light in here, and it was a little gray today.
yeah.
But I welcome the rain. I've been in crazy work mode, so I've a lot of creativity channeling and keeping us
Woohoo!
going. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
was thinking today is up to y'all now. Whoever's here with us today, hello. You're going to have to cooperate because, as Margie will testify, I have not sent her the list of topics yet.
Yeah.
So this week, I do know that we have a little bit of a zone going on with our sun and Mercury. Let's say the individual processing that we're doing behind everything that's happened and trying to look forward and trying to get our bearings with what the new routine can be or what we're looking into in terms of shifting our ways around here. This week challenges us to grow in our individuality, but we're getting a blessing because Mercury's finally out of the retrograde zone, and processing in Aries is what's best for you anyway. So trying to stay centered on what is going to keep you balanced and well and focused and present to be making the decisions that need to be made right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So if people, depending on everyone's in a different situation, that's the other thing. We cannot say that across the board everyone's having the same time with this. So that's the other reason I encourage you today to speak up and to ask questions, and let's pull some cards for whatever support you need, because that's why I'm here.
Let's
um,
let's do a card real quick for maybe balance and centering, right? And being more present in our body to like navigate through this.
okay.
Can we do that like a
Do we want animals, goddesses, Zen, or Native American?
ooh, let's do Native American.
Okay.
Yeah. And you
So,
guys please chime in, ask, just say, draw a card for me, whatever.
yeah, right now we're being pushed with the Jupiter-Pluto alignment, which is really a biggie that just
Yeah.
happened on 4/4. And what day is it now? 12, 13, 14? I don't even know.
I, you're
um,
asking the wrong. Today is
I
Tuesday. I can tell you that
Tuesday.
one
All I
for
can
sure.
tell you,
I
yeah,
mentioned.
exactly. And
Yeah.
Thursday I have a free call. So everyone's invited to the
Okay.
open house of the new Venus Circle that I'm launching. Has a two-part introduction. And this week's on Thursday, I think I chose 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern, which is 5 p.m. West Coast. And we're going to gather about the new Venus cycle in Gemini. And this is part of what you all are feeling as well. I'm trying to stay in present moment with where we're at in terms of the process we're in this week. It is a challenge after that initiation of Jupiter and Pluto in Capricorn last 4/4, like April 4th, which I think was last Saturday.
Yeah.
We're initiating a transformed truth and story, and we talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the theme that is now coming more and more clear through my setup of the new Venus circle is when I asked the overall piece that was most important for everyone to get at this Venus retrograde in Gemini was the power of story. So we are right now conjuring our new story.
Yeah.
We're just doing the rough draft and nothing is etched in stone. So it's important to open to the story you want to tell. Okay, Corona came and then what?
That's
Okay,
right.
so what is the new story after that? for those of us that are still here and kicking and functioning and can do that, then how do we help those who are having a harder time of functioning? How do we create some new ways of doing all this?
Well, it will be created for us if we don't step in and help create our
Amen.
story.
Choose
So you
or it
have
will
to,
be assigned. Yeah.
that's right. And so we get to choose. We have to remember that, there's a
And
reality.
that's Gemini, the choice. That's
Yeah.
what this cycle, Venus, the choice is based on your values and priorities. That's where we're heading now. And I would venture to say that we're still the 99 in the one. The 99% of us just want a good balanced life. So let's see what the cards say for
All
giving
right.
us a
And you guys
baseline.
ask a question anytime. If you want a card pulled for you, you don't even have to say what it is, or if you want some input, just chime in, because today is about all of you.
Got very quiet.
I know. Well, because we can pull one.
Okay.
Just if you could just say you want a card, and we could tell you what
Yes.
can do it for you specifically, and it actually helps the whole, right? So,
It really does.
yeah.
It does. All the messages end up being really universal and good for everybody involved, for sure. And there was something I was about to say. Give me a minute, y'all. Okay, it'll come back. The balance and integration that we were calling in for today's just kind of baseline. Oh, I know what it was. I'm inviting you all, anyone that's here, and certainly if you're listening to the replay, you can email me directly, kelly@karmictools.com. But I'm curious how you're navigating, how you're doing. So I do like to hear from my people and how the messages land on you. I love hearing those notes. I get lots of notes after Tuesdays. And this two-part introduction is this week, like I said, on April 16th, Thursday, we're going to go over the general cycle everyone's going to feel. Next Thursday, on April 23rd, we're going to go through a little bit more narrow for Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo, and Pisces, who are being more affected directly. So if you have those planets activated in those signs, and then you know that Venus is rearranging your values and priorities in a major way. So it's important that you co-create and you choose. So for your questions today, I would encourage you to ask, what piece of the story do you need to focus on, or what is your new story, or how do you get started with your new story, or what is the one thing you need to keep in mind for your new story, that's most valuable and important. So this is really wild. I pulled the card.
I'm going to say this real quick, just a shout out, because someone, Indica, asked if she could have a card pulled. So if there's something specific you wanted related to that, you can chime in. If you don't want to, that's fine. We'll do it for you. But I'm going to do a little shout out. And
Indica.
say,
okay.
The Native American cards, Zen cards, Goddess cards, animal cards. So you can even ask us that more specifically, or let us pick. Right?
Yeah. And
so
a lot of times when I know the question, I can pick the cards, but it's just everyone's intuition and preference.
Yeah.
So today, when I asked about our balance and integration of this week, which is really about coming to a new place in yourself, about who you are and what our identities are being cracked to change in an unexpected way. Let's say nobody planned this that I know of, although I've heard a few psychics had predicted it. So it's not that we didn't know change was coming, but this is the form it's taking. And so we have a chance now, like we said, to co-create and to call it in. And then the other part of the week's support, as our identity is being cracked open, is the consciousness piece. The Mercury is in a good angle, a sextile, which is an opportunity to gain traction or to create opportunities, or it's where the elements work together really well, like fire and air work together, water and earth work together. When you're combining the other elements, it takes a little extra energy to make them work right. These are the natural alignments. And so we're in a zone for this time where we just this week alone, let's just stay present, where we've got to look into that new identity of what it might be and explore the possibilities. Like really just let your imagination run wild. And then when the card I pulled for our balance and integration And just a baseline of where we should start today, I got the death and transformation.
Woo-hoo!
So here we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful
Yeah.
owl and moon. So it has a lot to do with
Mhm.
following our intuition,
Uh-huh.
being okay in the dark, getting okay with the mystery. Life, death, life cycle is what this always means. And we've talked about this. This is Easter, resurrection. We're working on that second life. There was a life before, there's the death. Now we have the transformation, and that second life is the one we're focused on. So what do we want to do? Now, because I got the death card, and I will read it, and then we'll pull for the people who have asked for cards.
Yeah.
But above and below is always my counterbalance to whatever I pull. So I pulled death, and so we are renewing. This is crazy, y'all. We are because even here, its key word is transformation. It just happens to correlate with the death card in the traditional tarot. But in here, it's called dying to be reborn. So what are we rebirthing but pleasure? How to do pleasure and be part of the world and all its beauty. The
And
6 is perfect nature, the way it is, and the lovers, which is all about surrendering in this deck to true love, which is our love for the earth at this point, our love for life. Like I said, let's focus on that second life. So, and 13 is the goddess's number. So we might have to pull a goddess card now.
Okay.
And then
Indica
how many
said
questions do we have?
Indica said when you choose her card, she's interested to see what comes up organically, so we can choose it for her. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay. But what did she send a question?
Nope. Just say please, just for me.
Okay, just for me. Okay, gotcha. So transformation, dying to be reborn, dead process, shedding the past, letting go of old patterns, dogmas, and values, which is another thing that Venus retrograde is renewing for us, letting it be on the deepest level, inwardly resuming to the source. So it's returning to the source, I think is what they mean. There's a lot of typos in this one. But returning to the source is what we're doing. And like I said, the energy that supports us with Mercury and Aries is what's best for us as individuals and our families and communities. And then you work your way out. I mean, you absolutely do. But you've got to start with yourself, or you're going to be kind of a weak link in the chain. So this card does not represent physical death. Every transformation is a new beginning. So don't waste energy on trying to stop the inevitable. You are simply ready to let go of more unnecessary baggage. The card hints at a long overdue disengagement from certain situations, sometimes the departure of people. However, in its highest aspect, the image represents the soul's longing to be born anew. This can only happen when needless structures and mental veils crumble or fail. Needless structures and mental veils crumble and fall. Ding, ding, we're done.
That's when you have to write down for.
Yes,
Right?
and make
That's
your choice. At
yeah.
least commit to how you want to feel. We don't know what form it's going to take. But when you're in your prayer mode and you're connecting to that essence of what you want to feel, which is safe on your own property, safe in your own home, healthy, walking around your neighborhood, basic needs have to be met, we can do that. But you want to call in that feeling and vibration, and don't worry about what the form will be, because that's going to change for sure.
That is.
And we don't care, I hate to say we don't care, but we do care what it looks like, but it's not as important what it looks like as how it feels. Let's put it that way. So the outward manifestation says, don't cling to a single thing. Maybe I should make a little meme for that.
I think so.
Okay, here comes the hot flash, y'all. Allow everything to disperse itself, which is also happening. There's a lot of organic release that isn't even going to cost you effort unless you make it so, So let some of the things that are dropping naturally, let them go, and see what rises in its place. Because if it's something that is part of you, it's not really going away. It's just going to change form. And that's anything in our house. That's anything. We, think of how we clean out 4 times a year. I still have crap to clean out the next year. The universe abhors a vacuum. That's why. So, let's see. Even if it seems unbearable at first, it's like the cold showers. Get over it. You are simply creating more space to accommodate some important newcomers in your life. That sounds good. Your sense of being forsaken will soon turn to joy. But the ego, of course, wants to avoid transition. It fears the new. It tenaciously clings to the familiar. It would rather exist in prolonged stagnation and death-like boredom than surrender to what it can never know. Deep breath, thereby causing much more pain, of course, but you have the courage and understanding to welcome profound changes. Do not postpone this transition. It is a transformation. Deep breath. So, did Indica say any topic or just a general thing, but just for her? Okay.
It comes up organically with you. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Well, we'll stay with this deck since it's out. And we've cleared the energy. So just for Indica, and then we extend that message out to whatever is useful for the rest of us, because we're all sharing this moment in time. So thank you, God, for guiding my hand on her behalf. Security, 4 of Earth. And it's a beautiful little medicine wheel. So it might be fun to kind of make our own little altars right now to just setting some space aside for what we are calling in. We're in between the full moon and the new moon, which is another big Venus, wave, because we came out of the Libra new moon, which is ruled by Venus. I'm sorry, the Libra full moon, and now we're coming to the Taurus new moon. So we have the endings and the clearings of any imbalance, toxic relationships, things that don't work in collaboration and partnerships. All that's been cleared because we've reset who we are and what we want with the Aries new moon a month ago. As we shift into Taurus new moon, it's more about what we value and our creature comforts, and we're back to food, sex, and money. How do you want to seed and plant the future for yourself around food, sex, and money? Because those are the primary things all humans.
The coming in, honey.
We want to love our lives and be happy in these bodies. We want it to be a pleasurable, loving experience. Our bodies are not a bag of bones or a burden. It's our vector of enlightenment, as Lorna Bavon would say. So let's go to 4 of Earth, security. So this was the thing. We're redefining our terms. What makes you feel secure? Some people it's food, some people it's shelter, some people it's money, some people it's whatever it is that makes you feel safe and secure. That is most likely going to have to evolve into something new. Not that it takes away from whatever it is that makes you feel safe. I'm a shelter person. My husband's a food person. So I feel like if the both of us are focusing our energy on these things that are priorities for us, we've got them covered. So hopefully you can work with your family and friends that way too, where everybody brings a piece. And this is what the community is all about. No one person can do it all anyway.
No, we're not. And
it's no fun. Usually. It's not usually fun by yourself. Sometimes it can be.
Well, I mean, it can be.
As long as we're in the 4 of Earth here, in the Taurus realm, in the body, I'm going to tell you, it's supposed to be fun by yourself, okay? Then you go share that fun with other people. All right. 4 of Earth, the key words are security, position of power. So don't forget your free will and choice at this moment. It may not feel that way, but there's a place inside you that exists, and you can fortify it. Influence through money. So coming up with new definitions of prosperity and wealth. My little mantra is, in this moment, I'm okay. In this moment, everything's fine. When I tell my body that, my body settles down and things open up to give me ideas of what can make me more secure, So the striving for security and success, desire for lasting stability. Again, we're going to have to redefine that. As long as we're together, that's lasting to me. I can't say that these walls are lasting. No. Because they wouldn't be on any other day for me anyway. But add this crazy world stuff to the mix, and you got to give that up.
Yeah.
and find the inner security and that works for you, you know, the levels that work for you. Law and order, also misuse of power. So we're keeping an eye out for the shadow of these things, what secure, because again, security, it's like a false sense of security. If you put certain things in place that make it appear secure, but in essence, we're trapped. We're actually trapping ourselves in a lot of ways. And so that thinning out the material items, minimalist living, all of that is getting bigger and bigger. The tiny house, we just watched a beautiful whole series on YouTube on the tiny house. And so there's ways that we can cut our footprint on the earth, be more communal without being on top of each other and without having to be a burden to each other, but working together in new ways. And so that's what we're going to call in. And that to me is what security is people who can work together. I tell people all the time with my marriage, after all these years, if we couldn't work it out, we would not be here.
That's right.
Because any relationship takes that kind of effort and communication and let's dig into this and let's make time for this. You know, if you care, you make time.
That's right.
So the inner message from the Four of Earth is be aware of how much material security you really need in your life and what this security means to you. What is it that makes you inwardly feel safe? What is needed now to stabilize you emotionally? If you let yourself fall into your own depths, you realize that true security always comes from within. Now you can, go ahead, you got something?
I was just going to say, I happen to know the person that you're pulling the card for, and it's interesting because that's been, I think, something that came up this week, right? Like it is going inward, right?
Mm-hmm. And finding your own answers, you know, that's the thing. And trusting, you know, my thing about that is if you're having a hard time trusting your intuitions and the things that are coming to you, ask for the confirmation because the universe will give you sign after sign after sign when you're open to it. So if it's about moving, like for me, I keep getting signs because I wanted to move a year ago and I feel like I'm a little late behind the 8 ball. And now you add this stress to the mix and it changes the whole process. So I'm just talking to the universe now, like, here's what I want. I don't care how you pull it off.
Let's do this.
But it's a year of miracles, and I'm a believer, so I'm calling in my miracle for this year because that's what happened to me in 08. 07 was kind of a crash, and 08 was the rebirth. And that's the cycle 12 years ago when Jupiter was in Sag in 07. And then 08 and Capricorn brought the financial crash and everything else. It was a crisis of faith and then a crisis of security. But then we get into Aquarius and Pisces and Aries and it comes back. So we know how to do this and we've done it before. If you're over 12 years old, you've done it before. So was there more? Let's see. Now you can reveal your influence on certain matters and step out from behind the scenes. But don't forget that outer creations or power demonstrations merely grant an illusory sense of security. Accepting our absolute insecurity is the only way to remain safe. So learn to rest in apparent insecurity. Begin to recognize the unchanging power in every change, every new and different situation. In this, I'm sorry, the typos, and then they'll hyphenate a word and it really throws me off. In this welcoming acceptance, you find the security that knows no change. So again, when it bees inside, that's what I was about to say. When it bees inside, you can't mess with that, okay? No one can take it away. It can never be disconnected. It can be weakened and you can forget about it, but it never goes away.
That's right.
So, yeah. I hope that worked for Indica.
I hope so. I don't know. Can you pull a card for Melissa?
Absolutely. Does she want a little Zen or an animal or a goddess?
Zen, animal, or goddess?
Or we could stay with what we've been doing. Melissa.
Well,
all right.
Well, I'll say goddess.
I'll stay with the deck. Oh, goddess? Okay.
Oh.
Okay, go for it. No, we wanted a goddess anyway.
Yeah.
Excuse me. All right. And see, we're really into this Venus stuff right now, y'all. The goddess is with us. Mother goddess is awake.
And you're going to
And
share with everyone also about the Venus call again, right? On
yes,
Thursday.
Thursday the 16th and Thursday the 23rd, 2 back-to-back Thursdays are the free open house for the new Venus Circle that I'm launching, and hoping to have a beautiful platform to share it on. You know,
Yeah.
I've always had membership to my website in kind of a back end basic
Yeah.
way, but now it's going to be easier for you people who live on your phones. All right, Melissa and the Goddesses. I'm holding them to my heart. Deep breath. This one is a special message for her, and whatever else the rest of us receive is divine order. All right. Etienne for Melissa. Etienne is a beautiful,
I love
one of
that
the
picture.
Susan Boulay. I don't know which way you
Yeah.
want to look at her. You can do her anyway.
Yeah.
And it's all gorgeous. So her name literally means shining one. And she was a Celtic moon goddess, the second wife of Medir, king of the underworld, so Pluto. And Medir's first wife was jealous of Etienne and turned her into a fly. Falling into a glass of wine, she drowned. She was reborn and married the fertility god. Medir challenged him to a game of chess. The result was that Etienne must spend half the year underground and half the year on top. So this is very much our Persephone story. And Etienne is especially a symbol of fertility, of the vitality and life of all growing things. A goddess familiar with both life and death, she teaches that wherever we are on earth or in the depths of the underworld, we too can be shining. And Etienne, I may not be saying right, but it's Etain. So that one is a good one.
Mother of
And
Doodles, if you want a card pulled for you, let us know. I know you just
you
popped
must
in.
know who that is.
Yes. And so if you, oh, and she needs to have, has like two little mini, like the golden doodles, super cute. And then like one new big one that's like fluffy, lovey dovey.
I
But
love
if you
it.
have a specific question you want us to ask to pull a card, we
So
totally.
who's struggling with the new identity emerging, wanting to change your path in a way you might not have been planning for, but that is actually opening you up to goodness? Because that it certainly lit a fire under some things for me as well, where I
All
was poking along going at a certain pace, and now it's like, oh no, we don't have time for that pace anymore.
no,
Make a
no.
choice, get busy, let's go. You know, again, if you don't choose a direction, then
I was just going to say,
I see her, thank you.
yes.
Um,
It'll be
then
chosen for you.
it'll be imposed upon you. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So I am all about making that choice, and the universe has responded to me because I asked for confirmations too. I get nervous just like y'all, and no one is exempt. You know, just because I know what's going on doesn't exempt me from the effects.
I know. Yeah.
So I'm working with it as well, but I also do employ all my tools, and every piece of anything I've ever learned at this moment, it's like all hands on deck. I talk to
Yeah.
all my crystals and everybody in here, everybody. I want the whole team engaged in this process because I don't want to fail, number one, but I don't want to crash and burn with this either. That's not the story I want to tell.
No.
So what about story questions? But you have a story question.
I know. I also
Um,
want to ask, like, what would you do for an example of an altar for someone at this time? Like, I know I
okay.
have mine, but an example that
A
someone may
basic
just feel.
altar is just a candle, incense, and a plant. Like represent the elements. Do some earth, water, air, and fire. So you have the candle and incense for air and fire. You have a little. Now I actually have a great little bowl. I don't know if I can show it to you, but I can try.
Okay.
Um, this bowl holds a regular tea light in the middle,
Yeah.
and then it's got.
Ah,
I can have water around the edges. So
yeah.
I'll have water, and then I have the shells, the cowrie shells that I work with the most. They stay in there just to keep it blessed. So there's,
Love it.
just represent the elements for yourself.
Yeah.
and then bring in the things, the pieces that have meaning. So I have very special crystals for all different things. One is for my work. I actually lit a candle for us today on my moon. Where can I see it? Can I see the moon?
Oh, I love
Because
that.
I wanted us to be able to, I was really calling in the ancestors for today. I said, whoever's here, it needs a message, needs some support. And because we're in a last quarter moon in Capricorn, the moon is in the zone where Capricorn, all the Capricorn stuff is happening. So this is where we're all reclaiming our authority to sort of tell our own story, whatever that may be. So let's improve and evolve the story. I'm going to pull in animal support.
I
Can you
was
tell
just
me
gonna
the
say,
time?
yeah, we're at the halfway mark.
Okay,
So,
cool.
yeah, I'd love
And
a
then,
story. I'd love one pulled for the story.
so
From
yeah,
you.
what animal is going to help with the story? You know, that's what I want to know. What can we keep an eye out for that is either going to add the power to our story or help us initiate a story if we're kind of in the fog at the moment? But what animal supports the new story? Because we're all going to emerge from this with a new story, whether you like it or not. So we definitely have to call in the social and collective story that we want to see as well. That's the piece that they don't teach you about when you're young.
That's right.
Is, you know, it's all about you, the individual, and it's all about maybe family, friends, and community. But the world takes a minute before you wake up and realize, right, that there's a whole world out there. So if we can integrate our intentions for individual, social, collective, kind of in a practice and all the time, then we're good.
Yeah.
For me and altars, you know, again, I'll have something related to what I'm calling in. So if we say, for instance, you want to do a new moon altar on the new moon in Taurus, which is coming up, then in that food, sex, and money piece, you know, find things that represent your goals for manifesting the creature comforts that matter to you and that, more importantly, reflect your values and show the universe what's important to you. Yeah. And so these are the choices we make when we do that, is what tells the universe what we really care about. And what you think about all day usually reflects where your consciousness is. Yeah. So if you're constantly on the sit and spin, which is what I call it, when we get on that one toy where you can just spin yourself, yeah. And you try to call your friends and pile them on there, but it's never as much fun as being alone. So I tell my friends, call me when you get off the sit and spin and we'll talk. So the animal, deep breath. So it wants to come through. Wow. So I guess I talked it up. And I have a fantastic picture. Maybe I can share that on Instagram. Is the blue heron.
Oh, yeah.
And this one is the great blue heron, assertive authority and counsel. It is the king of swords, or the king of air. And above, let's just see what happens. Oh, I love it. Again with the lovers. What's up with that today? I got the lovers is the bee in this deck. And fertility and spiritual choice. So we're talking about that. Wow. And then the bottom card, grasshopper, leaps of happiness. All right, so let's read the heron. We love him, her, he, her, them. We love them all. The king. Bring it on.
And Energy Doodle, if you have a question or something to add to your story, we have someone else on and want a card pulled, just do a little shout
Reach out.
We'd love to do it. This is all about you guys today.
And if blue heron is really your medicine and you have a close relationship, I do have a video that was the second chakra in Sagittarius that's on my YouTube channel from like a year ago. But it's 90 minutes that a heron sat with me and we're just communing. And so the whole video is just the heron, but it's me talking. It's me talking about the energies and stuff, but the whole video is a blue heron. So I love it. The great blue heron is part of a group of wading birds, which includes other herons, bitterns, and egrets. Common to marshlands and shallow waters and usually wading to feed in the shallows, the great blue heron is often considered the king of the marshes. His appearance is a sign to assert our authority and counsel. Now more than ever, we will be heard and followed. It heralds a time when our advice and counsel is more accurate and more well received. I like that. The legs of the great blue heron are its outstanding characteristic, as are the legs of all waders. They are thin and herons can perch easily on just one of them. Legs enable us to stand and to move about. The long, thin legs of the heron remind us that we don't need massive pillars to balance us, but we do have to be able to stand on our own. Heron's appearance is a sign the time has come to assert and become our own authority, to take charge. We've talked a lot about that. And Chiron moving through Aries for this 8 years and affecting our people born basically 67 to 77 are experiencing their Chiron return. And that's a lot of this too, is this healing of your independence and being able to feel the right to be here, to, all of the equality and justice things are up, we're going to heal that. We are healing that. So Heron is a time that others may find us more reliable and more committed. This is not a time to be impatient, but it is a time to act. So we talk about this sometimes. Oh, y'all, I need my back scratcher. Oh my God. People who know me, I carry it around. It's right there. And I'm always alone. So I'm sorry. I was going to say something really important there too. Oh, I was completely distracted. Time to find us more committed. Don't be impatient. Okay, so don't postpone, but don't rush into anything either. Like I said, feel for the confirmations as they come. And, look for those. I know. I'm so sorry. Oh, there's an angel in here somewhere. They're laughing at us. The trickster. So others may reassess their former opinions of us now, realizing that they may have been mistaken. And see, this is where our greatness is going to shine. People are rising to the occasion as we speak, so, and the earth is doing better. Like there's so much good to tune into. The great heron stands tall within the water, and yet it is a powerful and graceful flyer as well. When hunting, it stalks in a careful stride, spearing quickly and directly with its long beak when it spots its prey. All of these qualities remind us that now is the time to assert ourselves and explore new areas and activities. Now is the time for aggressive movement toward our opportunities, which is like claim it, Heron's appearance reminds us we know what is best for us now and should follow our own inner promptings rather than the promptings of others. Heron and the reverse, okay, now we're going to always look for the shadow so we can be aware and be mindful. This heron epitomizes the jack of all trades, comfortable on land, in the air, and in water. Because it is good in all environments, it reminds us of the need to follow our own path in life. If reversed, heron may indicate that we're dabbling in too many areas, trying to assert ourselves too much, and spreading ourselves too thin. Heron in reverse may reflect a little too much structure and authority. Maybe we are being too strict with others and ourselves. Assertiveness is important, but it can lead to bullying if it is not watched or balanced. Perhaps we or someone around us are acting too aggressively and bullying others. Or perhaps there is an environment where unfair decisions are being made. Okay, so again, in our prayer work, praying for ourselves, praying for others is all part of that. Herons are fairly solitary creatures, seeming quite comfortable in their own manner of living. Though they gather in colonies when breeding, they stand out in their uniqueness. When heron appears reversed, we may be trying to live a traditional lifestyle that is no longer working. Or we may be trying to be too alternative, okay? So no extremes, y'all, in our approach to life. Questions to ask. Are we trying to keep up with the Joneses? Are we being too rigid? Are we being too unstructured? Are we being too unassertive? Or are we asserting too strongly? So that's our Heron's guidance, and it's really beautiful support for where we are this week in particular, because as you're getting pushed around in your identity pieces to tell a new story, to transform your life and to rebirth yourself a phoenix from the ashes in whatever way that is customized for you, now it's leading to the consciousness shift and the new choices and decisions that you can make when you can be mobile again. And it's going to be incremental growth, obviously, incremental mobility for people, where a little bit at a time we all get our freedom back, hopefully. And you can make some new choices. But in the meantime, it's a good time to go within and figure out what you really care about, what you really want, where's the value, what's it worth to you, what are you willing to sacrifice for certain things, and what are you not willing to sacrifice for certain things, you know?
Yeah.
And some of these things are just some of the material items. To me, I got 6 planets in Virgo. They're just not worth it. They're not worth this cost to the universe and to the planet and to all the rest of us. So there's got to be a way to be balanced about it. I think we can work with technology. I think Uranus in Taurus, the one time in 84 years, is a good indication for us that we're alive at a time where we can witness the possibility of technology helping Earth and humans rather than taking over. So, for example, there's things I do believe robots could do, not jobs per se, but there's tasks that robots could do that would be, because here's the thing. If we have all this is the challenge with humans in this moment, is we're too idle. We've gone we're pushing buttons and we're not out hunting and gathering. So what do you do with that extra energy and that imagination, that human, you know what I mean? So there's a whole crew going into virtual world, and that's fine. But if you detach from your body, it's not usually comfortable. So that can be fun for a while, but then when your body breaks down, you're in a prison. So to me, I'd rather go the Earth way rather than virtual reality or the technology leading or being, let's say, 60-40. I'd rather have it be 25% technology, 75 natural, all natural. And let the technology do what it's good for. That's my whole point of why I teach the energies. Do what the energies are good for. Do what's supported. Don't fight the river. You know, don't fight the current that is going against you at this moment. So for now, you know, we've got to, you know, it's Florida, so we idiots abound, I'm sorry to say. And so we lose our privileges when silly people do dumb things, and they're one little tiny group that ruins it for the rest of us. So the thing about shifting to the Aquarian age is what's best for the group. So how can we be more community minded? Like, yes, we all miss each other. Yes, we want to go party on the beach again. Yes, we want to gather. Yes, we all miss that. And it's not natural and it's not normal for us. However, for the good of the group, stay your ass home so people can get well and get a grip on this. Because apparently that's the only key. That, from what I'm hearing, the only thing is to try to stop the spreading as fast, you know, as best you can. So we got to come up with something new anyway. We've been pushed into this corner regardless. So I think we can get innovative and really use our human ingenuity and creativity to come up with some really creative solutions in our place, in our space, in our moments, like recycling what we have. I mean, my husband's just going crazy off all the money we're saving because he does like to go out. He's a tourist, the food, sex, and money, right? But we're not going out to eat, and we don't eat carry out, so we're not doing carry out either. So, and then we never have food in the freezer because we're not freezer food people, and we're not like that. But now we have some meat in the freezer and different things to hold us just in case, beans and rice just in case, you know. So we do our thing, but we haven't been as directly impacted as a lot of people. And so I'm here helping and supporting those who are having a little bit more of a rough time.
And that is where the community comes into play, right? Like I have friends that are now planting their potatoes, right?
Yes.
And they've had gardens, or I think I told you my friend brings me eggs, right? And drops them off, and then I give her something. I gave her a sourdough starter so she could do her own, right?
I want to live next door to you. For the world giving up bread, if it's homemade, I'm sorry, I can't say no.
Oh, girlfriend, and it's good. I'm going to tell you right now.
Send me the recipe. So we've been sharing recipes. Are you still doing the cream?
And I was just going to say, and then I have another friend who's making, she texted me today and said, I'm making all these sunscreens for everyone.
Good.
Right. And they're all natural. She uses all
I've heard some people making all natural cleanser, the sanitizer. There's ways to do it.
Yeah, I've gotten
And
a bunch of that, like also face stuff she's done where, because she's home, right?
oh,
She's
right, I
retired,
know we all
and
have this extra
I'm like,
time.
oh, please, right? Like, yes, please.
Send me
And
a recipe.
she's loving it. I'll get them. She's experimenting all the time.
Yeah.
They
No,
come out
I was thinking it was
recycled
her saying to you.
containers, recycled
Mm-hmm.
containers, right?
All
That
day,
she's
all
putting
day.
together. Yeah, and I'll drop some off for her, and
Yeah.
it is tapping into some really fun, creative aspects of us
Yes.
in humanity, and going back to
Totally.
the simple and the basic stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do a shot energy doodle. We're gonna pull a card for you, just so I
Uh-uh.
don't know if you asked a question, but we only have a few more minutes left, so this is for you.
Animal, goddess, or Zen? Might as well
Let's
crack
do
out the Zen,
animal.
right?
Oh,
Animals?
Zen. We'll
Okay,
do
animals.
Zen. Yeah, let's do Zen.
You sure? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Energy Doodle. I love that name. That's so cute.
She actually
Ah.
she'll tap into your spirit
Oh,
and then
yeah.
do a doodle of you. Yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
I have Leela Nancy Ward, who might be here right now. She has integralsoul.love. She does something similar where she can tune
Uh,
into your, but she's a painter and an artist, so she can
yeah.
definitely do that.
She said energy
Okay.
still said animals. Yay.
Animals. Okay. You got it. They're still here. They're still here. So thank you for guiding my hand. And again, it might be something for her that is nice and personal and unique, but we'll get a little message out of it too. Energy doodle. Oh, the butterfly. Ace.
Oh, I have
Ace
butterflies today.
of shapeshifter. New
Yeah.
love, joy, and health. And above and below was examine life's lessons with mouse. So we're going to look at the details. And
Bye.
then otter is creativity and skill.
Ooh.
So we're getting creative with that butterfly as we rebirth and claim the new life, claim the new beginning, claim the new story,
Yeah.
claim the new people and characters in your story, claim the really amazing, beautiful souls you want to interact with going forward.
Yay.
And shape-shifting is what butterfly brings to the table. So we are definitely in transformation as we speak. Changing forms. And that's why it does feel kind of like a birth canal moment, where we are kind of challenged and cramped. But like I said, when we were going through it in Pisces, that we wanted to look at it as being in the womb, simultaneously confined, but also completely provided for.
Yeah.
So we want to see people who need the food and shelter getting what they need and being where they need to be to get back on their feet in this time and to claim their authority, because as usual, it hurts the weakest and the poorest among us. And so we want them to be empowered and to come out of this on top. So butterflies, the epitome of wondrous metamorphosis among the insects, and is universally regarded as a sign of transformation and change. When butterfly appears, new beginnings are near. A new stage in our life is manifesting, a stage which will bring renewal of health, joy, and love. Butterflies and moths have a long mouth parts that look like little hoses. They use them to draw nectar out of flowers. The appearance of butterfly always signals the presence of new nectar within our life. We will be able to make new starts, and any changes we follow through on should bring happiness. Whenever butterfly appears, it's time to move from one stage of life to the next. Opportunities will present themselves. That's why being clear about who you are and what you want makes it easier to grasp those opportunities. When butterfly emerges from the chrysalis, its wings are too small or soft for flying. Usually the adult emerges on a sunny day, so it only takes a few hours for its wings to dry and expand. Butterfly's appearance signals a time of emergence, alerting us that an opportunity is about to present itself. So that's the other thing about being ready, because it could be May 1st. If they tell us everything's fine on May 1st, that's just 2 weeks away. So be ready for when their movement returns, because it will, even if it's another month or two, but it will. Bear with me here. So we will soon take flight. Butterfly is a signal of new color and new spiritual insight, reminding us that it is time to lighten up and look for changes. However, the changes that occur will benefit us. Like all insects, butterflies have an antenna. Animals with an antenna always indicate a heightening of our spiritual and psychic perceptions. When butterfly appears, we should pay attention to those perceptions, especially in regards to love and the opposite sex. Male and female butterflies find themselves through scent, smell, and sight, and the butterfly's appearance always indicates a heightening of these senses. We will soon feel more fertile, creative, and alive. Thank you, God.
I know, right?
A new beginning is about to occur in our relationships and love. Butterfly encourages us to take part in the new dance manifesting around us, reminding us that dance brings joy and sweetness of life. So yes, be dancing, y'all. I miss dancing. And so I'm doing it a lot more on my own. Reverse butterfly reminds us that all change is good, but sometimes we must initiate that change ourselves. We must put forth the effort to emerge from the chrysalis. There are roughly 20,000 species of butterflies, all with amazing color and characteristics. All go through the metamorphosis. When butterfly appears in reverse, it is saying something about our growth or lack of it, often reflecting that we either are not changing or we may be trying to change too quickly. A caterpillar cannot immediately sprout wings and take flight. It is tiny when it hatches, but it grows quickly, replacing its skin every few days. In 2 weeks' time, it can be as much as 2,000 times larger than its original size in 2 weeks. Then it must replace its skin with a pupa case, and within this case, the caterpillar becomes a butterfly. If reversed, butterfly usually indicates we are not moving through natural stages of growth, and unless we follow them through their natural course, our efforts will not succeed. New goals are needed, as is new balance in working toward them. Questions to ask: are we in need of a change? Are we refusing to make changes when the opportunities appear? Are we ignoring our perceptions and missing opportunities? Are we feeling depressed? Do we need to initiate some new activities for more color and joy? Are we too inactive and passive? That's another thing. Some people are just going to quit behind this. And I'm sorry, but that's not the answer. Are we trying to do too much too soon? That was the last question. So butterfly, we're all in transformation of some sort. We've all got something to do right now. And so co-creating, choosing the essence you want to experience, choosing how you want to feel in any given moment. You know, if safety and security is your issue, then focus there. If togetherness is your issue, then focus there. You know, everybody's different in what their needs are for this time. And if it has been uncomfortable for looking inward, you know, there's people who go, so they never have to look inward. So they're hurting too, but it's not a bad thing. It is going to be good for you in the long run. And this is just a wake-up call. And the idea is not to fall back asleep, not to go back to the same old on purpose. Consciously, don't go back. And you know,
be there, especially
be uncomfortable in the new before you go back to safe and comfortable. That's all I'm going to say.
Well,
because safe and comfortable might look like a trap to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
So.
it feels like that's going to look a lot different, right? I want to, before we close, I do want to do a little shout out and have you re-mention the Venus Circle and how you're doing that on the next, I think the 16th and the 23rd.
3rd, yes, 16th, 23rd. They're both a Thursday this week, this Thursday in 2 days, and then next Thursday on the 23rd. I'm having the Venus Circle. It's a free call. You can go to karmictools.com and register under subscription Venus Circle. It'll say open house. Okay. That's what you're looking for to register for the free one. And it's a 2-part series, so you'll get 2 recordings.
Well, is there a replay? Oh, you're welcome.
Yes, yes.
Welcome. Is there a replay?
Everyone who registers will get post-call goodies, which actually will tell you where Gemini is in your chart. So even if you don't get a reading with me or follow up, which you can also do, this is the launch of a new 18-month cycle. So that's what the introduction is to the new cycle that we're all going to experience. The first Thursday, we're going to focus on what everyone will experience. And the second Thursday, we're going to focus on the individual. And that's probably when I'll ask people to commit. If they want to get the reading, I created a custom guide that is about 100 pages, spiral bound. You can keep your notes all in one place. It's really wonderful for my note takers and people who do that. The 150, if you're new to the circle, it gets your reading and your custom guide. And then we do the 25 a month for the subscription to the circle call. And you can use your book with the circle, and we follow along together. And it's really wonderful. A lot of people do it all the way through the 18 months. I average, let's say, about 20, 25 people that follow all the way through. My record is 33, so I'm curious if I could break that record anytime soon now. And that was for a Capricorn cycle in 2013, I think. So we'll see. But I can, I'm using the new teaching platform, Podia, Podia, Podia.com. So it'll be something you can log into and get to all your goodies from wherever you are. But you'll also have a PDF version of the book or the book itself if you are a note taker. It's 50-50. And that's the new cycle, the new class I'm kicking off essentially. And we do 9 months of release and 9 months of reclamation. And we follow Venus and the moon or get together once a month, every month. And that's kind of our guiding feminine light for the month. And it falls in a different sign. And this time she's really lingering in Gemini for a long time. And so it's April to August. It's 4 months in this zone. So if you have Gemini, Sagittarius, or Virgo, Pisces, it's stimulating all those 4 houses to reorganize the priorities and values right now. For all of us, those houses are being directly hit. If you have planets, it's more intense, it's more personal. So those are probably the people that will join that have those planets is usually who's affected, is who joins up. But if you have those houses and they're really full, it could be, like my Virgo, 6 planets in Virgo, I'm going to get hit with this. And I did in 2012 as well. It's when I really went further into my certification with the shamanic astrology. And I watched Venus cross the sun, and I was on the Big Island in Hawaii. And it was wonderful, but it was a huge leap in development in my community. Since then, it's really grown and evolved exponentially. And so now it's doing that again. Like, I feel like that's going to be another expansion for me, because that puts Gemini on my 7th house of relationships. That's what's getting rearranged, is on my partnerships, collaborations, and relationships. But by default, that's going to work my home and work dynamics and my self versus other dynamics, because I'm a Sag rising. So all Sag risings, you're going to feel it like that as well. So it's just an interesting cycle to follow along with. And it's your feminine and it's your values. So basically, we'll feel what's going on around all of us, but when you're tracking what Venus stimulates for you personally, when she stimulates each planet in your chart, which is what that customized book has for you, it has all your activations for the whole 18-month cycle, which is like your personal horoscope. But it also tells you month by month what's happening to you, so that you can track along and keep your notes in one place. And then what happens is we do our release in 9 months. And then when we get to the reclamation, I'm like, okay, look back at what you released here to see what you're reclaiming here. And I even encourage people on the front end to go forward to see what you're going to reclaim, so that you can be mindful about what you're releasing and be aware that the release work you're doing is clearing space for this reclamation specifically. And it is unique for every cycle. So you can just do them over and over, and they're always different.
Just letting you know right now, I'm in. So.
You're in, yay. You're already in. You and Melissa are in by default. I'm going to put you to work this time. But it is good, and it is fun, and it keeps you on track, and it works. It works when you work it, that's how it goes. So I love the Venus Circle. I'm also going to be launching the Soul Sister Circle, which is more of the earth medicine, and we follow the animals and the ancestors a little bit more closely, less astrology, no astrology really. But for those who are really learning.
So
okay.
For anybody who hasn't done it yet, are you still doing the little survey for Instagram people if they
the reading? Yes, the Astro Tarot reading is for my Instagram people. You can email me directly, Kelly@karmictools.com to get $25 off the Astro
Yeah.
Tarot, and people are taking advantage of it. So thank you,
I know, and
because
so
it's
great,
important.
actually.
Yeah, it's a good one. She just got hers, so
It is a shit ton of information.
that'll keep you
Like,
busy while you have nothing to do.
I was like,
Get to know
wow, she
yourself.
must be working day and night to do this, right? It's like,
I've got it down to a science now.
I
But
know.
it is, your astrology tells you where you are right now in your own cycles.
Yeah.
And then we follow up with a tarot reading that's like a 10-card spread that gives you a little bit of everything, past and future, what you need to develop, what's important
Not
at
trying
this
to cut
time.
you off, but it's going to shut us off. So,
Okay, we love
bye.
you. Have a great week. Reach
See you
out if
next
you need
week.
to. Peace and love.